Joining me now is Forbes Life editor, Michael Solomon. Michael, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, the 2023 Golden Globes will air on Tuesday, and this is the first time it's been televised since 2021, when it was shrouded in controversy. Before we preview the event, can you give us a highlight reel of the controversy surrounding the Golden Globes?
So the Golden Globes have always been surrounded by controversy. It's a kind of strange award show. It goes back more than 75 years. It's run by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, which is essentially a group of journalists. A group of journalists is deciding some of the most important awards of the movie season. Unlike, say, the Academy Awards, which is chosen by Academy members who vote in their respective categories, actors for actors, directors for directors, and so on. The SAG Awards, the Screen Actors Guild, again, actors voting for actors. This is just journalists voting for their favorite movies, essentially. And historically, the controversy surrounding it had to do with kind of pay for play. So in the 80s, there was a lot of controversy with the Golden Globes because people were basically paid to go on press junkets and woo them to vote for their respective movies. And that's how things won Golden Globe Awards. The most recent controversy had to do with the Golden Globes being just too white. There were just not a lot of people of color in the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. There were some other controversies around it, but that was really the heart of it. And the Hollywood Foreign Press Association said it would clean up its act. And they were taken off NBC for a year, and now they're back on. And we'll see. They have not done everything they have said they would do. They have not cleaned up everything they said they would. And there's still some hesitation this year to see how it goes. So this is a very important year. What helps the Golden Globes this year is that it's coming off a very strange Oscar year. It's coming off a year where Will Smith slapped Chris Rock on the Oscars stage. And the Oscars have been dwindling in ratings over the years, and the Oscars are losing their importance, and people always felt great about the Golden Globes. So that people want to like the Golden Globes. It is a more fun ceremony. I've attended both. You would rather be sitting at the Golden Globes than the Oscars, even though the Oscars are the Oscars.
Why?
The Golden Globes are much more fun. First of all, you're sitting at a dinner table. There is alcohol at that table. That's why people are having a good time at the Golden Globes. The Oscars, you are sitting in a seat. You're sitting in a giant theater for hours. There are seat fillers. If you want to go, you have to go drink at the bar, which is outside the room. I like to describe it as kind of the difference between a Christmas Sunday service and an Easter Sunday service. They're both pretty festive. One's a little more serious.
And you said earlier they haven't cleaned up their act. What has the Hollywood Foreign Press Association done to rectify these missteps?
So among the things they've done is they have added some new members of color. So that will make a difference. And you can see some of that in the nominations this year, but they haven't done nearly as much as they promised they would do. And again, you do see some of the nominations are less white than they used to be. But it's just not where everyone thought it would be. And we'll see. We'll see how people react to it this year as a show. There's also a controversy with someone who is one of the favorites to win Best Actor this year, and that's Brendan Fraser.
Can you highlight that?
So the controversy surrounding Brendan Fraser, if you recall, was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, and he walked away from his career many years ago. And no one really understood why. A few years ago, GQ did a story where they explained why Brendan Fraser walked away from his movie career. And the short version of it is he claimed he was sexually assaulted by the former president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, who runs the Golden Globes. Make no mistake, this person denies that he assaulted Brendan Fraser, although he apologized to Brendan Fraser for any misunderstanding. So Brendan Fraser says he will not attend the Golden Globes this year. He is a favorite to win the Oscar. He is arguably a favorite to win the Golden Globe this year for Best Actor. But he might not win because he's not going to be there, and Austin Butler, who's in Elvis, is the other co-favorite.
With some people not attending, do you think we could see a normal Golden Globe ceremony this year?
I think you'll see what looks like a pretty normal Golden Globe ceremony. I think there'll be a red carpet this year. I think you've got some A-list, B-plus list celebrities who are going to be presenting. I think it's going to feel like a pretty regular Golden Globes, although I think they're probably pretty careful. I think they are well aware that they're kind of on probation.
Let's talk about it. Who do you think are going to be the winners and losers come Tuesday?
So remember, the Golden Globes, unlike the Oscars, splits its movies into two categories. And we'll talk about movies before we talk about television. But in talking about movies, think about movies as drama and comedy, but comedies were also comedy/musical. Mm-hmm. So in the drama category, the favorite to win is The Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg's autobiographical movie. Tar is probably the second favorite in that drama category. And then in the musical and comedy category, Everything Everywhere All at Once is the other favorite to win. And that really sets up your Oscar race. You know, it sets up Fabelmans versus Everything Everywhere All at Once. Maybe Tar gets in there for a little bit. Obviously, people want Top Gun to be in there because it was one of the biggest movies of the year. It's possible, and it's possible that the Golden Globes will go for it because you never know with the Golden Globes. I wouldn't bet on it.
When it comes to the award season, this is really the kickoff to the season. Do people care about award shows anymore?
Well, the ratings would tell you they don't care about awards anymore, but the movie industry certainly does. Awards really affect box office performance, so that nominations make a difference, wins make a difference. People tune in, people care who wins, people love to see their celebrities in beautiful outfits and handsome tuxedos. So people will tune in this year. I think it's exciting to have the Golden Globes back, but we'll see. Oscar ratings have really been down in years past. Will people tune into the Oscars this year because of the Will Smith controversy? Probably. The Golden Globes will be a good test of that.
Are the titles that are being awarded this year, are they any indication of what was the most popular at the box office?
Almost certainly not. The Golden Globes has historically been more interested in popular movies. When you watch the Golden Globes, you've heard of the movies that are nominated. When you watch the Oscars, you think, I've never even heard of these movies. How did this get nominated? Who saw this? They're movies that come out typically in New York and Los Angeles for a couple weeks. They're prestige movies that get nominated, independent films, things like that. You never see the most popular movies of the year nominated for the Academy Awards. It's very rare that you do. You do in the animated category, but otherwise, it's very rare that you see big movies win Best Picture. There are exceptions, of course. Titanic is an obvious example of that, or Silence of the Lambs is another example of that. But in general, people tend to complain about the esoteric nominations of the Academy Awards. Golden Globes a little more popular, and here's why. The Golden Globes was established as a TV show. When the Golden Globes came out of its probation in the 80s, what brought the Golden Globes back as an award show was Dick Clark, the famous TV host and producer. Dick Clark, who hosted American Bandstand, who did Rockin' New Year's Eve. Dick Clark gave the Golden Globes respectability in the 90s, and he made it a real award show with real celebrities, a real red carpet, so that people tuned in, and it was just fun. So if the Golden Globes can do that, I think you'll see a re-energizing of that award and the award season in general.
And why is there a disconnect between what's hot at the box office opposed to what you're seeing more at awards shows?
Well, take the Oscars and put aside the Golden Globes for a second. The best movies of the year are not necessarily the biggest box office performers. The best performances of the year are typically not in superhero movies. You're just not getting those moving performances in a Marvel movie. You may, there are a lot of people who think that, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever should get nominations. It will get nominations for effects and costumes and things like that, but typically not for performances. We shall see, though.
Any surprises that you're predicting come Tuesday?
Well, I think look for the comebacks this year. I think it'll be interesting if Brendan Fraser does win this Golden Globe, even though he's not attending. The other category that's interesting, and it's a fun one for fans of 80s movies, in Best Supporting Actor, there's an actor who viewers may remember from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. He played Short Round. He played Data in The Goonies, if people remember that movie. But Ke Huy Quan, who is in Everything Everywhere All at Once, is the favorite for Best Supporting Actor. He's been getting a lot of praise all season long, a lot of critics awards. Expect to see him have a big night. And you may see Michelle Yeoh up there as well. Michelle Yeoh could win for Best Actress. I think a lot of people are getting ready for that battle at the Oscars to see Michelle Yeoh, who will likely win for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy, versus Cate Blanchett, who will win for Tar, presumably.
Is winning a Golden Globe a benchmark for success? Let's say you win one. Will this automatically catapult your career?
Winning a Golden Globe will help your career. It's not as prestigious as winning an Oscar, but it is certainly a benchmark that most actors try to achieve. It's certainly something that puts you in a new category as an actor. And so it does have great meaning. It doesn't have as great meaning as being a 2-time Academy Award winner. You know, there are a lot of people who won multiple Golden Globes, but to win multiple Academy Awards, that's really still the gold standard.
Michael Solomon, thank you so much.
Thank you.